What happened? You okay? Okay. Go, go.
The movie starts with the storekeeper going outside the store to sit. He grabs his chair and sits on the forecourt. He then suddenly hears a strange sound and turns around. He speaks loudly in that direction, letting whatever is down there know that he has nothing on him. After a while, he gets curious and walks towards the sound, where he sees something that leaves him completely in shock. The beast comes running towards him and attacks him by biting a chunk from his leg and the rest of his body. The man screams in agony as the beast tears him limb from limb. Polly gets out of the car while Seth complains about their camping site. Polly thanks him for doing this with her because she knows Seth isn't a fan of camping. They get their stuff out of the car and start building their tent. On the other hand, Dennis and Lacey's car is destroyed. Lacey complains, saying this isn't how he told her the trip would go. Dennis tells her that Mexico is around the corner and that they can make it. Dennis suggests they should leave because their truck isn't going to get them any closer. Seth and Polly are still trying to build their tent, but they seem to have difficulty doing it right. Seth really can't see the point in spending their anniversary night in a tent in a place full of bugs, so he suggests they get a motel instead. Polly is more adventurous, so she insists they stay here and figure out a way to put the tent up. Because of his promise to Polly, Seth decides to give the tent one more chance, but they end up ripping it. They didn't bring a spare tent, so their plan to stay in the tent camping was ruined. They have no choice but to leave for the motel. Dennis throws out everything they have, including their car, and they continue on their way without a car. Seth and Polly put all of their stuff back in the car and started on their way to the motel. Polly mocks Seth, saying he reads too much about things and doesn't experience them in real life. On their way to the motel, they see a woman in the middle of the street. They stop immediately, and while they're arguing whether they should help her, Dennis knocks on their car window and asks them to open the door.
Nice and easy. All right, get out of the car.
While they are in confusion over whether or not these people are dangerous, Dennis shows them his gun and forcefully opens the door, dragging Polly out of the car by her hair and throwing her on the floor. Dennis instructs Seth to turn it off and get out of the car while holding a gun to his head. Seth is still unresponsive because he's still in shock, but when Dennis threatens to shoot Polly, Seth quickly gets out of the car. Dennis asks Seth to clear the back of the car so there's room for 2 more people. Their interaction has now changed into a hostage situation. Lacey disagrees with Dennis's plan, reminding him that he said there would be no hostages. Dennis convinces Lacey to trust him. Dennis then asks Seth to get in the driver's seat and start driving, but he tells him he can't drive stick, so Polly gets in the driver's seat instead and starts driving while Dennis is at the back with Seth and Lacey in the passenger seat watching over Polly. After they start driving, Dennis asks them to hand over their cell phones and wallets. He throws their cell phones out the window so they won't report the police and takes all the cash they have. Lacey asks Seth if he is a doctor after seeing his ID and asks him if he can prescribe for her, but Seth tells her he won't be able to do that because he has a biology PhD. They keep on driving with no particular destination in mind, and suddenly, Polly runs over something, and they have to stop because they have a flat tire. Lacey gets frequent hallucinations because of the substances she often uses and thinks they run over their pet Ginger. Dennis tells her to calm down since Ginger is no longer with them because he died a long time ago. Dennis instructs Seth to get out of the car and get the spare tire, but Polly volunteers to do it because it's her car, and Seth doesn't know how to change a flat tire. Dennis hands Lacey a gun and tells her to shoot Seth if he moves. Lacey tells Seth to move to where the dead thing is to check what it is. When they get there, they see a dead, crushed animal. Lacey starts talking to the dead animal and commands Seth to help it. Meanwhile, Polly and Dennis try to change the tire, but Dennis gets stuck on a splinter. He removes the splinter and continues working. The tire was destroyed by splinters from the dead animal. Lacey threatens to shoot Seth if he doesn't go help save the animal, mistaking it for her old pet, Ginger. Seth is left with no choice but to examine the animal. When he touches it, it starts moving and tries to attack Seth. Lacey shoots at it and starts running back to the car. Lacey tells Dennis they have to leave immediately without any explanation. Later in the car, Lacey tells Dennis that their old pet Ginger tried to attack her, but Dennis didn't believe her, as she often gets these hallucinations. The car's radiator breaks down, and they stop at a gas station to refuel and buy something from the convenience store. Lacey says she needs to use the bathroom and gets inside. Polly and Dennis also get inside to buy some stuff while Seth remains outside pumping the gas and cleaning the car. When they get inside, there is nobody at the store. Dennis frequently calls out, but nobody responds. Dennis looks at his finger, and the wound on his finger starts to spread. Meanwhile, Lacey is at the bathroom door trying to get in, but the door is stuck. When she eventually gets the door open, she sees a man lying on the floor with a bunch of splinters stuck on his face and wounds all over his body. It was the storekeeper. He mouths the word "kill me" and transforms into some kind of a beast when Lacey runs away to the store and calls out Dennis.
Spikes! No, baby, please.
She tells him she saw a man with spikes in the bathroom. Dennis doesn't believe her because he thinks she's having hallucinations as usual. While they're arguing, the man jumps and drops in on them. Lacey trips and falls on the ground while Dennis shoots the man coming towards him. Seth runs to the store when he sees the man coming towards him. Polly tries to call 911 for her, but Dennis takes the phone away and breaks it in hopes of not getting caught by the police because he is a fugitive. Dennis beats Polly with a gun when she starts questioning his authority over the situation that is happening and threatens to shoot Seth when he tries to intervene. Dennis breaks down because of his sudden loss. Dennis looks through the CCTV cameras and sees that Lacey is still alive and moving, so he gets out to get there. Seth suggests they will watch the monitor to make sure the man isn't moving while he gets Lacey, but if the man goes to get him, they will shut the door, and it's going to stay shut. Dennis takes his chance and gets outside to get Lacey. He slowly drags her body to the store. Polly suggests they lock him out regardless and not let him in. Polly locks him out and refuses to let him in, and as Dennis threatens to shoot Polly for not letting him in, Lacey's body regenerates and she attacks Dennis. They open the door and let Dennis in while Lacey's hand is cut off by the door. Seth sees the hand moving by itself and gives his hypothesis on what it may be. It's an organism that feeds on any animal and metabolizes. Suddenly, there's a bang on the door by Lacey, who is now a monster-like animal, just like the man who attacked her. Seth and Polly tell Dennis to get away from the door so that she can't see him. They try to open the store door and escape, but it's locked. They look for keys, but they can't find one anywhere, so they resort to opening it using a screwdriver. Dennis is on the floor, unresponsive after watching what Lacey has turned into. Seth and Polly open the door, but it has another lock from the inside. The banging finally stopped, and the monster was on the roof. They start listening to the sounds that come from the roof carefully, and as they turn around, they see a police officer in front of the door staring directly at them. The officer points the gun at Dennis and tells them not to move. The police officer is so focused on capturing Dennis that she doesn't listen to what they're trying to tell her. The police officer refuses to get in her car and calls for backup when the monster throws a splinter and attacks her from the back, tearing half of her body apart and consuming her. After a while, her body starts to regenerate and join together as the splinter cells regenerate. The splinter wound on Dennis's finger starts to spread even more. Polly suggests they should run to their car, but Dennis refuses the idea because the monster can move faster than they can. He then compares her with Lacey, who is also brave, and they argue even more. Seth stops them both and tries to solve the problem using logic and science, but he doesn't have any solid idea on how to get them out of there. Dennis then comes up with the idea, saying that since they're 10 feet apart from that state forest, which is a national treasure, they can set the forest on fire and wait for help. Polly agrees with the idea, and they look for oil to burn the forest with. They spray the oil down the back door until it reaches the forest. Seth didn't like the idea, so instead he proposed another idea. Since the police officer's walkie-talkie is right there, they can pick it up and signal the police for help. Seth tapes the hanger wires together and pulls the walkie-talkie closer to them, but as he is about to take it, the monster jumps and pulls it away and puts its hand inside the window, breaking in. Denny's hand starts getting worse and the parasite is spreading. The monster's hand gets inside and chases after them. As they fight off the monster's hand, which is full of splinters, they won't stick themselves and get infected. They go inside the refrigerator room along with Dennis and remain there. Seth and Polly learn that Dennis's hand is infected. Dennis asks them to give him a knife to cut his hand before it spreads, but he passes out before he can. So Seth takes charge and cuts his arm off using different unholy methods.
Fuck, I can't get through the bone with this knife.
What?
As they share a final beer, Dennis reveals why the police are after him. He shot a trucker during a robbery, leaving him paralyzed, and later learned the trucker died, leaving his wife bankrupt from medical bills. This was Dennis's last chance to make amends by helping Lacey get clean and supporting the trucker's widow. Seth theorizes that the monster is drawn to warmth, so he plans to lower his body temperature with ice packs and track the creature using a thermometer. Once his body cools, Seth weakly walks to the police car to call for help. Meanwhile, Polly and Dennis use fireworks to distract the monster. As it approaches the car, Dennis leads it away while Polly and Dennis hide in the refrigerator. Seth runs to the store and starts shooting at the monster, igniting the oil they sprayed earlier and setting the store ablaze. He tells Polly they need to lure the monster into the fire. They fire at it together, but Dennis insists on taking the gun, urging them to escape while he fights off the creature. Seth and Polly escape while Dennis leads the monster to the gas and shoots a gun, setting the whole place on fire. After a massive explosion, Seth and Polly get to Dennis in an emotional scene. He gives them his key to the bank and asks them to give all his money to the trucker's wife. Setha and Polly start moving while Dennis embraces his last minute and blows up the gas station by shooting directly at the gas pump in front of him, dying an honorable death as Seth and Polly finally escape from what seems like a nightmare. Did this story spook you out? Let us know in the comments below. For more horror movie recaps, subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next one. Fear awaits you.